as many people would think. Oh, so I'm just gonna, like, I know people might come and say, okay, yeah, I want to transition from this job to probably a tech career. It's not an easy thing, but my transition, I would say it's filled with ups and downs. Started training. I was with Coach Russell then, back then. The journey was not that smooth, although I have that passion, I have that intention that yes, I'm here to change my life, I'm here to reshape my life. But my journey started with the training basically. And during the training, there are a lot of things that goes into that, a lot of work. Uh, there is a lot that goes into that. So generally I'll say my transition has not been smooth, because when I started my journey, I started training, and then there was a break because of the lack of commitment from my hand. But thankfully I have Coach Russell beside me. Is there, like, always pushing you, telling you, okay, this is what you need to do. Sometimes the way he handles stuff, sometimes my you might feel, oh, he's a very difficult person to deal with. But trust me, um so like I said, there was a break in my transition. After my training, I started applying for jobs. I noticed that jobs were not coming forth. I was like, what's going on? Then I stopped with my training, but I kept seeing people coming up with their testimonials and saying what they are going through. So I had to go back. I went back to Coach Russell and I told him, like, right now I am ready. So we went through the we went through that session again. It's like I come in, like, I have this mindset that I am a brand new employee, that I'm ready to be fluid, I'm ready to be trained. And trust me, to be honest with you, all the things that Coach Russell taught me, if you put everything into practice, I believe you're going to see the result. Although it might be hard, you might feel like it's not achievable. Like, coach can tell you, you can do it. You can apply for 100 jobs in a day. Like, well, looking at it, you'll be like, it's not visible. But persistence makes it come to life. Like, following the instruction. But when I changed, I'll tell you, the moment that really shaped my career or my transition was when I changed my mindset. I into being agile with my mindset, like, okay, I do not know nothing. Like, you come with a blank slate and waiting for things to be written on the blank slate. So that is how my transition went. And also during the process, apart from the training, one thing that really helped me in my transitioning as well is practice, practice, practice. I am someone that is really shy coming and talking with people, but coach is definitely going to put you on the spot, because the way we do things back then, you have to anchor like sessions, you have to talk to people. Is there is always this saying that it will tell you that you don't hide, like, because when you get on the job, there is no hiding place for you. You can't be hiding because, oh, you'll be like, okay, my team member is going to do it. No, but here you have to take the lead. So I'll say that's a little about my transition. There is still a lot I would like to say, but I'll leave it to coach to, yeah, lead.
Nice, very nice. Now, a lot of people basically believe that, making that transition, they need to know it all, meaning they need to have all the information about what the job entails before they are comfortable enough to even want to try to apply. Did you at any time feel that way? And if you did, how did you handle it?
Thank you. From day one, since I started with Coach Russell, there is something that I always say. Even at the, let's say, at the end of the first 2 weeks, it will tell you you are ready. When you are getting into the new environment, the first thing, like I said, is for you to have a clean mind. Just come and be ready to be fluid, be ready to be shaping. So getting into the job, you don't have to know everything 100%. That is the truth. And you cannot know everything because you never know where you are going to get the job. But the major thing is get a grasp of the methodology, of the practical of what you are going to be doing at your workplace. There is always a time that I will feel like, always, every time I always feel like I am not ready. Even when I got the job, I always run to Coach Russell. They asked me to do this. They asked me to do this. How do I do it? You don't have to know everything. One thing that I will tell you is, once you are positive, once your mind is there that you are ready to make this change, you learn on the job as you go. You learn on the job. There is no time that you will feel like you know everything, that you are ready. But like Coach Russell will always say, you have everything it takes to do the job. The thing is, getting onto the job, just look at yourself. People that are in this job, it's not like they have two heads. Just take that leap of faith. There, even till now, I still feel like I haven't known anything. But the key to that is listen, study, and work hard. You always have that feeling, but you never know. Like when you find yourself on the spot, the answer will definitely come to you. So that is the truth. You always feel you are not ready, but in honest, you have everything it takes to do the job.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I like that. So you think you are not ready, but you actually have everything within you. And then
Yes.
walk us through that way you felt, especially when you got the offer. How was it? Tell us, look
Woo.
back, look back at that day and tell us, how you felt, you
Okay.
know.
Well, first I will start by when I actually first got the first interview. During the preparation journey, coach will tell you there are different types of doors. You can apply to your job. You saw the posting, you just applied, you submit, and you wait for them to look at your resume and get back to you. After that, you'll be like, okay, yeah, they are not reaching out to me. Then there is this door where you are going to like approach the recruiter yourself. Place yourself in front of the recruiter, knock on that door, take the other door. Like you saw a posting, probably maybe on LinkedIn or on Indeed, and you probably saw the profile of your recruiter. Send a personal message, which was one thing that I did. So on reaching out to my recruiter, the thing that he told me was like, "Oh, have you applied?" I told him, "Okay, hello, I saw this job that you posted, and I've applied on your website. I believe I'm a good fit for this role." I hyped myself, and then it was like, "Okay, yeah, no problem. Did you apply?" I said yes. Then it was like, "Okay, can you send me your resume? I'll go through it and give it to the hiring manager." I sent it to him and I said thank you. Then he reached out back to me. He was like, "Oh, my hiring manager would like to have a interview with you." I was like, God, I told coach, what am I going to say? Like, I don't know what to say. So the first thing I did was he told me, you need to research who you are going to be interviewing with, and you need to know what the company does. So I did my homework as well. I got back to him. Then he gave me some questions for preparation for prep, which we went through together as a team. And I also practiced, even on my phone. I have lots of videos of myself showing myself, okay, can you tell me about yourself? I'm going to talk and talk and talk and talk. I have more than 50 videos just about tell me about yourself, rehearsing to myself. I look at myself in the mirror. I'll try to say it. I record it. I play it for my husband. Does this sound perfect? So those are the things that I did. And then the day came. Uh, I was scared at first, but in my conversation with them, I noticed that everything that they have been telling me, like they're asking me, those are the things that I've learned already. They are the things that I know. It's just for me to explain myself, put myself in front of them, place myself in front of them, tell them, convince them that I know what I'm saying, convince them that I understand what they are talking about and what they are expecting from me. So doing that, and then okay, the first one came. They were like, okay, we'll get back to you. I think that was a Wednesday. They told me they'll get back to me by Friday. I reach out to coach. I told him, okay, this was what I got. And then the next minute, it wasn't like towards, it wasn't the end of the day. I just saw the message from a recruiter. Oh, they would like to schedule you to meet with a team. I was like, whoa, they didn't even wait till Friday. So thankfully enough, we did that. That also, it was just like a conversation. They just want to know how, like in different scenarios, how am I going to handle the team? What is it that I can do in order to help them? And I also asked them question, what are the areas that they are having difficulty? And lo and behold, one of the hiring manager actually told me, asked me a question, what they were facing. So to be honest, I didn't know what to tell them. I was just like, okay, you know what, this question, to be honest, I don't know the answer to it. But as soon as I was done with my interview, I had to reach out to coach. I told him the question. He gave me, oh, this is what they were expecting you to say. I had to immediately emailed the hiring manager again to tell them, okay, this is what I thought. They were like, oh, wow, okay. And then they were like, thank you. I did not forget what they asked me. And I try to reply to them. So I gave them that answer. It wasn't up to, I think the following week, I got the offer. But getting the offer, that was where the real job started. Because my mind was, how am I going to cope in this situation? Okay, I told them I can do this, I can do that. What if they bring it and I don't know what to do? So like even 2 weeks, 3 weeks before I started the job, I started studying more. I was reading more so that I will know what to do and what to say. You have that kind of feeling like, oh my God, what is it that they might ask me? I might not know. I know I have, I know I can do the job, but you never know what you are going to meet there, you know. But one thing I can tell you is once you have that mind that you are ready to do it, you are ready. So those were the preparation. And on getting on the job, I see it wasn't that, it was really challenging at first, because when I had questions, when I had to give the team advice and I wasn't sure what to do, I have my coach. I will reach out to my coach. Okay, this is what was going on. This is what's going on, and he's gonna point me in the right direction. So that fear is always there, but you take it one step at a go. And one thing that coach always says, I know we use Proof Hub. Always practice with all the tools. So, like on my job, okay, we had different software that we use. We have different software that we use. So what I do was I will try to get another account on my personal computer. So anything I was asked to do, I will have to do it first with my own account before even going on and say, okay, this is how you do it. This is how you do it. So the fear is always there that you don't know it, but trust me, it's in you.
I love that. It is the solution to your problem or to your fear is within you.
Yes,
But then, from what you are describing, it appears that it's only when you are in front of the situation that's when you will realize that, oh my gosh, I already know
I
these
have.
things.
Yeah,
Why was I afraid?
that's the
Now,
truth.
now that's exciting to hear. So what I'm hearing is before you apply for the job, you were afraid. You got
Yes.
into the application. Before the interview, you were afraid. You got through the interview, and before the job, you were afraid. You got into the job, and then what? What did you see?
Whoa, that is really interesting. Getting to the job, like I told you, you had to be prepared yourself because this is a new environment. This is a new transition for you. You are not sure what you are going to meet there. But getting to the job, first, I limited myself to asking a lot of questions. You do not want to get into the job and present yourself as clueless. You know, get to the job, look at the environment, because I believe there is no job that you will be. You will be employed to and you will not be trained. During the training process, look very well. You do not want to ask unintelligent questions. There are stuff that you feel, okay, oh, how is this working? How does this work? Sometimes you just have to keep it to yourself. Write down whatever it is that you see that is new. Do your research. If you feel like you still do not understand, then definitely you can go ahead and ask the question, because one organization is different from another. Let's take, for example, I was working in the health sector before, and then I into the sector. So the environment is definitely different. But one thing I'll tell you with being a Scrum Master is once you have the agile mindset, it is easier to incorporate whatever it is. On the job, there is nothing so hard, there is nothing so difficult. It is up here. It is in you, because some things will be thrown at you, some situations will be thrown at you. Let's take, for example, you were working with your team in planning, and then you see your product owner coming, okay, we have to get this done, we have to deliver this, we have to do this, and then you see your team members being like, okay, yeah, yeah, we can take it. But you, as a Scrum Master, you are able to see that with the capacity of this developer, he cannot take it. It just was just saying yes, 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 yes to the product owner. It is your job as a Scrum Master, because yours is to like protect your team. Yours is basically to keep your team from being under stress. So, like in this kind of situation, I noticed like the previous I was just leaning on empirical knowledge that previously I've noticed that this developer can only deliver 10 user story point, but now here is the product owner coming and pushing 15, 17, or maybe 20 story point word of story to this developer, and he kept saying yes. So what I did in that kind of situation was to step in. Hey, Mr. Product Owner, well, I understand this and this and this need to be done, but he might not tell you the last sprint that we completed, it was under a kind of pressure to complete and deliver. And we don't want to put everybody through that. So can you please look at these user stories? Which one do you think takes higher priority? So it was like, oh yeah, thank you. I didn't even thought of that. I was just putting on the product owner hat that I had in me that I want to get this done and get this done. Mine is just, it's just common sense. Yours is just to make sure that your developers are comfortable. They are not being pressured. They are not being overloaded. So step in there. Let the product owner know, okay, this, we cannot take this on. We cannot deliver this. So most of the things that come, they are just common sense. You notice things are going this way and this is supposed to be the way it should go. You step in and point them in the right direction. So in that way, they will be like, oh, so those are the things that I've noticed on the job. They are things that even happen every day. They are things even in your own life, is it this what do we call this? The hierarchy, this is it Moscow?
Hmm.
There are things, yeah, that you need. There are things that you know they are must. There are things that you know you could. There are things that you know you should, and there are things that you feel like these are just they are just wants. They are not your needs. So you prioritize accordingly. So I think that is basically what you do in the job. So getting there, looking at what's going on, and then from the trainings and experience that you already have, you see the way things are going. And yours is to go in there. Although you might meet with some resistance, which is 100% fine, but yours, one thing that I always try to do is make sure they understand the value they tend to gain if they go the route you are suggesting. Do not first, don't loud your opinion on anybody. Give them suggestion. Ask them questions. Ask them questions, reasonable questions that will get them thinking. Don't just give them a yes and a no question. Like, okay, do you want this? Yes or maybe no. Just give them, ask them questions that will get them thinking. So getting to the job, like I said, most of the things that you do on the job, they are common sense things. You notice, you know the principles, you know the values of Agile. Use that in order to point them in the right direction. And one thing to know with Agile that I believe coach is always saying is there is no one size fits all. You always have to find a way that works for your team.
Beautiful, beautiful. So I know you went through, especially when you were transitioning to becoming a Scrum Master, you went through a lot of pressure, particularly, particularly from yours truly. Now, talk a little about that pressure, if you don't mind. How was
Hmm.
it?
Well, the I don't even know where to start. To be honest with you, there are lots of pressures. First, for me to show that I am committed to this, I need to prepare myself. I was working, but because I know that I needed that change, I need to change. I need to get into this. I know not everybody can do that. I had to drop the job that I was doing.
Hmm.
That was the first thing. I don't think I told coach that. I had to stop working. Like I needed to concentrate. And I know that dropping my job is going to be a motivation for me because I know, okay, now no source of income. It is now or never.
Hmm.
So that was one thing that I did first. I had to resign. I had to stop working. And then I concentrated on this. Like I
I
want
never,
like,
I never knew that.
yes, I stopped. I stopped working
Wow. Why?
because
What inspired you to stop working?
okay. First, one thing that inspired me was I had people that we started the program together, and most of them already got the job.
Hmm.
And I was there coming every day. I was thinking, when is my time going to come? Yes, I do attend, but most time I go to work and I don't have enough time to study, to put my mind to it. And I believe in myself that I still have an alternative. If this doesn't work, at least I have something to fall back on.
Hmm. An
So in order,
alternative.
yes, in order to deprive myself, like just to tell myself that I have no option, I had to stop that work. So
Hmm.
I spoke with my husband. It wasn't easy, but I told him, just give me 3 months. I promise. I'm gonna deliver. It was like, okay, if that's the route that you wanted to go. So I deprived myself of that alternative.
Hmm.
So no, now I have no alternative. I know I have no other option. So I had to face this squarely. So that's when I started immersing myself, changing my mindset about this transition, about the change. Like I needed to do this. I need to do this. And when I first started the training, actually, I would just come to class and just sit behind my camera. Sometimes my kids are there, but when I came back, I had to take up some responsibility. I'll say more or less like coach forced them on me. Like you have to do this. Take like you have to do this. So showing up and coming up to talk, uh hearing my own opinion, and then I will tell you like seeing people getting the offer put a lot of pressure on me. Prior to that, I would say yes, I actually do apply. I was applying, but I wasn't that intentional about my application. I had the LinkedIn, the premium. I would send personal messages. That was one pressure. The pressure of getting that application out.
Hmm.
And then I tried as much as possible. I think there is this hard application that, as coach used to call it, because there's this easy apply. They just click and then you submit. But most jobs, when I just see that you have to fill another form, I'm like, ah, no. I don't want to do this. So I'm just gonna close it and then go to the next one. Then I had um, accounts on different job sites where even though I applied on LinkedIn, if it's the same job, I'll go to Indeed and apply for the same job. Like I was intentional about my job search. And so that was the pressure of that, and also of getting my how do I call it, my interview, getting myself ready. That pressure is also there because the recruiters can call you anytime. You have to be prepared. So that pressure was there as well. I will record, I will write it down. I had different notes that I will study, and then the pressure when the interview comes, as well as the pressure from the family. I have 3 kids and the youngest is 3. So that is there as well. So, and giving myself a timeline of 3 months, that was, I won't lie, it wasn't easy. So those are the things that I would say put a lot of pressure on me, but mostly seeing people that I started working with
Hmm. I think she. Can you hear me? Okay, I think we lost her for a second.
Oh, I think I cut out there.
Yes, you said this was the part
Okay.
this was the part we lost you. You said, but mostly seeing people who you came with getting jobs, that kind of puts the
Getting
most pressure
jobs,
put the most pressure
pressure,
on
it
you.
put a lot of pressure on me because it's not me being proud or anything. I know some people that got the job. I know I can do better than they do.
Good.
And
Very good.
also the pressure was getting the right opportunity and putting me in front of that hiring manager or the recruiter. I was always looking for that right, that chance to do it. So the pressure of seeing people getting the job when I know I can also do it,
Hmm.
that was very intense. It was
So,
really intense.
thank you. Thank you very much for sharing that. I want to dig in a little bit into that. Now, walk me through how many applications, let's start with let's let's start with the job you have right now. Was it an easy apply or a hard apply? Which one gave you the job? Do you still
It
remember?
was the it was the hard apply.
Okay.
I
So,
applied. Uh, I went to the website. Sorry,
mhm.
and then I had to reach out to the recruiter after doing the ad application.
Okay. So you went to their website. So just for clarity for our audience purposes, a hard application is one where you are not pressing one button and you're applying.
And
You're actually
submit.
putting in your information, you are typing it in. You might take about 5 or 10 minutes on that
Even more
application
than that.
itself, even more than that. So that is what we call a hard application, which is in opposite to an easy apply, where you just press one button and your application goes.
Submit. Yeah.
So you got this job with a hard apply. Okay. Now, typically, on a given night before you get a job, before you got this job, how many applications do you put in as an individual? Every day.
Every day, I'll tell you the minimum you should do is 50 every day. I know sometimes the application, the new jobs out there might not be up to that, but you try as much as possible. Give yourself a benchmark of 50.
50 applications a day. Okay, beautiful. There are a couple of things that you have said, and just for the sake of my audience, I want to kind of repeat them.
Okay.
Omotola said that for her to get what she wanted, she had to make a major sacrifice. In her case, she had to sacrifice her job. And immediately she made that sacrifice, she knew that it was only one way forward. And what Omotola just shared reminds me of, a story from 1519. So in 1519, Hernan Cortez, way back before we had Americas, it was called the New World. So he arrived in the New World. Most of you might know this story. He arrived in a new world with 600 men. And upon arrival, he made history. How?
Mhm.
He turned around and he burnt his ship.
Mhm.
So he came with the ship and he turned around after coming out of the boat. He set the boat on fire. All 600 men they were looking at him setting the boat on fire. Instantly, he was communicating that there was no turning back. This boat that we came with is not the way we are going to use to go back home. We are going back home through the enemy. That's exactly where we are going. And when you said this, it reminded me of Shock as well. Shock also said the same thing. He was working in an optometry shop and he was struggling with focusing on making his career transition. But it's only after he made that decision to say, hey, I want to make a sacrifice to be able to get what I'm looking for. That was when he was able to get the results he wanted. Not just one job, but actually three at the same time. So help me understand this. When you were working full time, why is it that you couldn't do the same thing, which is 50 applications a day, apply? Why couldn't you balance both?
It's not possible because I have to work 8 hours, and then getting home, there is my family there. I have to attend to them as well. So it wasn't easy for me to put in 50 applications because like, where is the time? The 24 hours was not even enough. So it
Hmm,
wasn't possible.
I see. Okay. So now I get that. You had to make that hard decision.
Yeah.
And then the next thing you said was you were putting in 50 applications a day and you were spending
Yes.
a lot of time doing hard applications.
Yes.
By doing hard applications, you were able to land this. Now, let me ask another question as well, just to better understand this. Now, there was a lot of expectation on your end as well. How did the GLAPI program with those projects you were in, how did they help you in getting you ready for the interview? And also, when you got on a job, how did the GLAPI program help you with being effective on the job as you are today?
Okay. Thank you for that. Um, Glappy, I know we have a group of practitioners that do come to our class, and every evening you'll see a practicing Scrum Master come tell us what he or she is going through at work, tell you, okay, this was what happened at my workplace, and this is what I did. And you see people asking for advice, and coach is going to tell them, okay, if something like this happened, this is what you're supposed to do. This kind of scenarios, I took charge of those scenarios and made them my stories. So when the interview came, those were the things that I was relaying, like questions like, okay, let's say in a situation, you find yourself in a situation where you you have your manager micromanaging you. What are you gonna do in that scenario? I took note of what coach told one of the practicing Scrum Masters, and I took charge of that. I mean, like, I made it my story, and I told the same story. I gave the solution that coach gave. So learning from other people's experience really helped me both at work as well as during my interview. And it's still helping me till today because there are some things that you have people talk about, and then there are some stuff that you do at work. I mean, during the internship as well, that you will remember how you did it, which was the same thing that is applicable to how you're doing your work as well. So, like for example, we use ProofHub is more or less the same thing as you working on Jira. It follows the same principle. So when I see, okay, maybe this is how we move stories from one, let's say from one, how do we call it, from one status to another, or from one column to another. This is what happens. So I also translate that into my real work. The same thing we do all the Scrum ceremonies here. We have the daily stand up. How do we run the daily stand up? How do we run our retrospective? How do we run our sprint planning? Those are knowledge that are transferable as to where I work as well. So I remember at the start of the program, we were building a e-commerce website here. So there are a lot of challenges, there are a lot of examples, even within the team, while still in the internship program. So getting on the job, I saw the way we collaborated, the way we are able to deliver, the way we put our, I would say, like our demo together. So the same thing is applicable to me at my workplace as well. So learning from other people's experiences really help, and also from me participating in what is being done during the internship also really helped. So they are really valuable skills that are applicable to where you work.
Beautiful. I noticed during your training, then I noticed you were taking meticulous notes. I know you're always taking notes way back then. Now, good. Now, while working, did those notes were they handy? Did Were they useful? Tell us about, have there been a time where while you are working, you're able to go back to your notes, consult, and then use that information to actually solve a problem on the job? Have there been any situation like that?
100%. Yeah, all the notes really, really helped. Like I think that was when I first started, before I stopped and then I started again. We were talking about I think you were talking about the traditional method of like waterfall. We are looking at waterfall. We are looking at difference between waterfall and agile. So and then you gave us example of some steps. Okay, I detailed those steps, and I remembered during the training you put us into group, and then we were looking at this QA, how they do testing, the examples of testing that they do, uh, the UAT. I can't remember. It was a lot. So then I got I got on the job, and then they were like talking about different type of testing, oh, that they will be doing. I'm like, oh, okay. I think I heard something like that before. I had to go back to my note. I consulted my note. Oh, this was what they were talking about. Because sometimes, like when you start, you feel as if they are speaking Spanish. You'll be like, oh my God, what are they saying? But you don't want to be like, okay, what are you guys talking about? So definitely there are a lot of times that I have to go, and also like some of the ceremonies I have to go and replicate all the steps that I detailed in my note as well. So it is really useful. There are some things that you just say in passing. As my coach, you do say some examples in passing, and then like just try as much as possible, take note of that. You never know when it might come in handy, because all these notes I do go back even till now, consult and see, oh yeah, this is how it's supposed to be.
Hmm.
Not everything
Beautiful.
is on the internet, trust me.
Beautiful. Now, another thing also was, I keep saying, I know when you were on the training, then one of the things I kept saying was these tools were interchangeable. For example, when I say, hey, Proof Hub is like Jira.
Yep.
Now, I know when you were in class before you got a job, you didn't believe me.
No, I did not.
So tell me, what did you see when you eventually got on the job?
Oh my God. When I got on the job and I saw that, because I was expected to make some changes on Jira, I was panicking. Like, I don't really interact much with the proof hub. I'll just go there once in a while. I'm like, okay, this is what's going on. I see the notification. I'll just be like, okay. But getting to the job, I had to do some stuff. I had to interact. I was super scared because I'll be like, oh my God, I don't want to break anything. I don't want to press this button and this is going to happen. I don't want to show that, okay, this is what's going on. So, what I did in that case, I was forced to like interact. Like I told you, on my system, my personal system, I have an account set up, Jira account, Confluence account. So, whatever it is that I have to do, if I'm not sure, but now, nah, no problem with that.
Amazing.
So I would just first go ahead, do it on my personal computer, make sure I don't break anything. I write different user stories for myself just to practice. And then, yeah, then I'll go to my work computer and be like, okay, yeah, this is how to do it. So interaction with the tool really, really helped.
Hmm.
It really
Fair.
helped a lot. Yeah. But to be honest with you, I did not take your advice then.
Okay. Okay, which is fair. It's okay. So, but then I also noticed that, you were among one of those people that I know I gave you a lot of work then, especially to prepare training materials where I say, hey, prepare this slide, prepare this topic. And did you find that useful on the job? Some of those work I was asking you to do.
Yeah. Yes, coach. There was this slide that I prepared for the team. I was doing presentation here at Glappy, which was on, I think, was it on estimation? Yes, because you were delegating. Okay, prepare this, do this. Are you going to present this? Which I did. Lo and behold, on my second day at work, they were like, "Oh, sorry to pull you guys in, because we actually want you to do this for us," and it was estimation. I'm like, "Whoa, oh my god!" And that was just what I just presented with the team. So I'm like, "Oh yeah, easy peasy, no problem." So I had to handle that. I had to give, I think it was like three teams. I have to give them advice. Okay, this is what you need to do. Okay, we are moving from uh hourly estimate. I think they're using manpower to using story pointing. What are the advantages? What are the disadvantages? This is how you go about it. I'm like, oh, hey. So it was really helpful. That was really helpful.
Okay. I know you were amongst the people that I gave a lot of work to do. You know, at some point, I was even telling myself that maybe it might be overwhelming for you, you know. But then looking back, I think the fact that you had a lot of things going on with Glampy because it occupied a lot of your time. Then, if you remember, you know, I felt like that actually prepared you. How did that? Let me phrase that into a question. How did that work? I was giving you again and again. I'm almost allowed to do this. Almost like it was. I was calling your name constantly. you know, how did that prepare you for the job?
Ha. Well, that really helped because I'm not handling just a single team. I'm handling two teams. So, and there is a lot of coordination that goes into that. So, one thing, first, time management. I learned that by you giving me a lot of things to do. Yes, I know how to manage my time more, and I know how to prioritize what I need to do so that nothing slips through the crack, because you don't want to drop the ball. So
Hmm.
even I will tell you 100%, speaking with my manager sometimes ago, because that's one thing that I try to do as much as possible. Seek feedback. How do you feel like I'm doing? How do you think I'm doing? Am I doing well? Like currently, he, even- he was even like, okay, I don't want other team to steal you from me. You've taken a lot of load off me. Honestly, like tomorrow now, I have to meet with a new team, and it was like, you know what? Don't go too much into the agile stuff because they'll see how brilliant you are and they might want to take you. I'm like, nah, I'm not leaving you. So that really helped. It helped with my multitasking. It helped with my collaboration skill as well as my time management skill, because there is a lot of things that goes into being a scrum master. It's not all about you maybe setting up time for, I mean, certain cadences for all these ceremonies that you have to do. There are a lot of things that goes into it. You have to make sure everybody is on board. You have to make sure everybody is comfortable. You don't want to pressure your team too much. There are things that they need. You just need to help them to reach out to probably maybe another member of another team. So there is a lot that goes into it.
Hmm.
So that's one skill that I would say it's one very good transferable skill that really helps on the job. Yeah. It was
Amazing.
too much then, coach. It was too much.
Amazing. Amazing. So now I know you've done trainings, before you joined Glappy, before you joined the Glappy village, you've done trainings elsewhere, you've been in other places. But what about the Glappy experience that you like to share with this audience? What would you
Mm,
say is that one or two things that you found valuable on your career transformation journey?
mm. Well, I'll say here at Glappy, I have made some lifelong friends that we are still in contact till today. That's one thing. I know if I hope on a call now, like let's say I'm having difficulty, I might not be able to reach code directly. I know you're a busy man. I have a couple of friends that I made from Glappy that I can reach out to. Oh, this is what's happening. Can you assist me with this? Can you help me with this? And this community, like I said, it's a very supporting community. Staying here, learning from other Scrum Masters, learning from the coach himself, you are able to get all the skills. I would say this place is somewhere that I believe I can always reach out to if I need anything. This is a kind of environment that uh, helps you to thrive and helps you to grow if you are committed and you know what you want. Coach will say, be intentional. Be intentional. So anything, I would just tell you, this is a great place to be. Glappy has really helped me a lot.
Beautiful, beautiful. So, Glappy, for those of you who are not aware of what we do here, I'm going to be sharing a video um, that tells a little about what we do. But before that, I was wondering if the audience has any question. Any question? Please put it on the chat. For Omotola, Omotola, for those of you who just joined, Omotola is a practicing Scrum Master. She is one of the Glapians, as we like to call it. She actually transitioned into Scrum, learning most of those skills from the Glappy community. She actually was able to work on live projects, to deepen her skills and her experience. And, right now she's a leader, within the organization she serves. She's a servant leader supporting two teams. And she's coming back basically to share that story because some of you might also be considering making a career transformation as well. And so it's good you hear from the horse's mouth. So if you have any question, please put it on the chat so that Omotola will be able to respond. I know we have 5 more minutes to the end of the session, but if you do have questions, please share. But meanwhile, I'm going to share a video clip really quickly while people share a question with you.
Okay.
Hi, excited to have you here. My name is Russell Avery. The fact that you are seeing this, it means that you are interested in the Glappy Village. I'd like to tell you a little about the Glappy Village and what exactly we are doing. So the Glappy Village is a community of change makers, change agents if you like, who are passionate about giving back, who are passionate about making a difference, who are passionate about leaving an impact. Now, the thing about the change agents is they are talented professionals of African descent or people who are passionate about Africa. Their goal is to empower minority groups, people that are marginalized, women and children, with the skills they need to develop a new Africa. One that people can, be able to attain their human rights, one that people can be able to uplift themselves from poverty. Again, the key word is uplift themselves. And so we are focusing on providing the tools and the infrastructure that allows this to happen. The efforts and the exercise of doing all of this is what we call building the African dream. So for us, the African dream is, and it's one where Africans can take themselves off poverty, pull themselves up with their own shoelaces. And we, using the Glapi village models like smart villages, are enabling that across the continent. We are currently in Cameroon and we are, actively getting into Nigeria. We've been in Nigeria for a while, actually since 2007, and we've been working on the grassroots, working in collaboration with our partners in developing this dream. It's been a long time, but it's one that we want to keep developing. We have currently, a network of nearly 500 professionals working both in Nigeria and in the US and in Cameroon to build this African dream. We're building the infrastructure, we're building the technology, we're building the teams, where we have labs where we are running experiments, agricultural experiments, to be able to see how this would work and how we can scale, this across the continent. It is a very exciting endeavor. It's one that we are passionate about. It's one that we would be excited if you choose to join us. This is something that we are doing not for ourselves. We may not see the benefits of all of this, because the benefits might come much, much, much later in life, maybe 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now. But our children and maybe our great-grandchildren will be the beneficiary. But we are passionate about making this happen. And we want to start today. We're excited to have you on board. It's a very interesting ride, for those of you who are overseas in the United States, like Africans in diaspora. You can also benefit from our program because we allow you to develop your skill. We provide the infrastructure and a platform for you to grow professionally. And when you make those sponsorship donations, those sponsorship subscriptions, you will be helping in accelerating the work that we are doing. Whether it is our African Kids Can Code program, where we are training kids how to code, or whether it's the work that we are doing in rural communities, building documentation centers, empowering youths, taking youths off the streets and giving them skills where they can become global contributors towards the development of the world at large. Our goal is to be able to get there, like Singapore did in 50 years. We want to see how we can use artificial intelligence, machine learning, and other advanced tools to be able to accelerate the development of the African continent to maybe in half the time or less. This is enormous work, as you can see. This vision is huge, but again, with your support, we will be able to get there. Again, we're excited that you are choosing or considering to join us on this long, hard journey. If you do, we'll be more than happy to have you. Again, we're very excited to have you here, and thank you for choosing Glapi. What is Glapi? Hi, excited.
Yes, Omotola, we're back.
Okay.
So that was a quick
Uh,
introduction to Glapi. I know we are already on time, and I want to be very respectful of your time. So there are a couple of questions that came in, but I'm going to share those questions with you. For example, Cynthia Moby said, if I'm in need of a mo- remote Scrum Master position, how should I do that? What type of job should I pursue? And, another said, does that mean easy apply can't land one a job? So I don't know if you have a few more minutes to answer these questions or you want us
yeah,
to.
sure.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Well, easy apply can land you a job. I can't tell you that it's not gonna hand you like land you a job. It can, but if you look at the numbers, like when you apply, you see like the numbers are always high for the easy applies. Uh, but my advice is you keep doing that as well as doing the other type of application as well, and try using the other doors. Don't go through just one door. Everybody uses that.
Beautiful. Now,
And
mhm,
yeah, for the second one, getting the, what do we call that? Remote job option. Well, I remembered back then, coach was saying the door is closing in on that because most organization now they either want hybrid or they want you back in the office. So for that, I don't have the figure, but it's still possible to get uh, a hybrid job. But that's that's my take on that. I mean, like
okay,
remote. Mm,
beautiful. Okay, and then there's a last question for you here.
from Michael. Okay, if you were to do this Glapian experience, what would you change? I would change. I'll add more. I'll change nothing. Add more. Because I would say 100% we need more of ex-Glapian to also show up. I'm guilty of that as well. We need to show up more. Yes. That's the only thing that I would like to add.
Beautiful, beautiful. Omotola, it's always a pleasure spending time with you. And once again, thank you very, very much for all you do. We're excited about the gift of your time. Today you're at work, but you decided to carve this time out to spend with us to discuss, maybe inspire, Glapians and people all over the world who are actually watching and going to watch this event to see if they themselves, they too, can actually have a career transition or a career transformation moment with Glapping. Always excited to have you here, and thank you once again, and hope to see you again sometime. Any
Oh,
final
thank
words? Any final words for people, Glappy, Glappians, everybody?
well, my final words is thank you so much, everyone, for having me. And also, you have it in you to also get it. Just be intentional about what you want. So, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Omotla. And have a good one, team. Thank you very much. We'll
Thank
see you
you.
again soon. Bye bye.
Bye.